Okay.
So I thought I'd start just by going over what I understood to be the technical agenda, and I believe I tried to mark this up. Actually, I was pretty impressed with what Purdue was doing, but it looks, let me see, what have I done here? Okay, here we go.
So there's a colleague here that's up to something?
Oh gosh, yeah. So there's a lot of areas of interest here. Now, of course, this is not stuff that finds its way into a code or standard, of course. Most of it is not, but it starts to form the technical foundation for that. And we know, for example, and you'll see some of the examples that I bring up, that a lot of the technical substantiation is not present when these standards and these concepts are advanced through their systems. So, but I thought you'd be interested, since you're at Purdue right now. We can rip through this. They're actually, I think you're one of the most prolific institutions as far as what we do here. So if I want to just step through some of these.
Okay, but that's Calumet. Okay, what's the other one?
Well, we have many more. I'm not sure what the count is here, but you'll see.
Jim Braun, yeah. Jim's a good man.
Okay.
Okay, who else?
In fact, while I do it, I'll do more yellow. I've been a little bit, I'm not orthodox about what I marked up here, but since you're here, I guess.
Yeah,
So there's
my challenge.
Okay, so botanical air filter and inefficiency. Okay, look, oops, I'm sorry, we missed one. So here I thought this was kind of interesting. Low pressure handling leakage of large commercial.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, that's this one here, but it doesn't have a Purdue person in there. But here it looks like you do have a Purdue person, so we'll mark that one up. So now, performance of novel compression concepts for heat pumping.
Eckert, okay, yeah.
You know that guy? Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, this is going to work out.
Affiliated with my department.
Dan Schuster?
Well, yeah, I know Dan and Tim and Jim. I know all those guys. They're great people.
Okay. Simulation assessment of free cooling technology for a large campus. So I'd like to get my hand on that piece of research.
Well, Dan Schuster's in on the facilities side, so you can talk with him. He's obviously done the data gathering for those researchers.
Could you say, if I can't find him?
Oh yeah, because I bumped into, he comes into my building occasionally, so I bumped into him.
Okay, so there's that. Heat pump for prototypical residential building in the United States. We're paying a little attention to some of the residential concepts, because when we start to respond to the government about its definition of net zero campus, we feel that a lot of the peripheral ownership, what you would call a campus here at U of M, for example, we've got, I'm going to guess maybe 50 houses that are on the periphery of campus that are actually parts of departments. So, you know, are they part, even though they're supplied from Detroit Edison for gas and heat, are they part of the net zero campus? That'll be interesting. So we're paying a little bit more attention here. My colleague Tom Gerard is working up ideas on that one, but he's not here at the moment. Okay, let's see. Here's another guy. Environmentally sound refrigeration. You know this guy?
No.
Okay, friendly thermoacoustic refrigeration. That sounds interesting. Thermoacoustic refrigeration. Let's see, what else do we have? And we also have energy associated with building envelopes, so cooling and daylighting. Fenestration, oh boy, what a battleground. This is up your alley, right? You're a fenestration guy?
Well, I know about them, but I don't see anybody I know there.
Declare probability measurements in offices with dynamic facades. Okay.
Huh. Student member. Oh, I'd never know that. Okay.
Let's see. So I think, I guess that's it. I guess that's it for Purdue. Let me see if we go back. How many presenters do you guys have? Let's go way back up to the top here. Make sure I count them all.
Score?
No more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10. That's impressive. You want to see
How
what?
many from U of M?
Here we go. Michigan. 0.
Not even state?
Let's see if we can do MSU here. Nope. Nobody from Michigan.
Boy, oh boy, Mike, I'm disappointed in you.
Not me. I got enough going on electrical. Let's look at California. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8. All right, so Purdue actually beats any California university. Let's see where there's other environmental activists. I'm going to guess, let's say Virginia. There's a lot around the Beltway. Let's see if anybody from Virginia is here. 1.
Ought to be a guy from Tech. Wait, go back to that one from the first one from Virginia Tech. Is that?
No, you were counted here.
Well, that's counted twice, huh? Okay, go ahead.
So I'm just going back, start with Virginia again, because it's all Beltway stuff. 1, 2, 2. Okay, so Virginia. Where else are there a large number? New York has a lot of environmental activists. So 1.
What about Massachusetts?
2, yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. Still, Purdue beats everybody. And we'll leave it with Massachusetts. 1. Well, Purdue gets the award for the organization that appears to be, at just this very core survey, the most active in this space.
I mean, the one thing is that it was close. You know, it's a 3-hour drive to Palmer House from here.
Okay. That's
Michigan should have been there because it's just as far from Michigan.
Right. Well, we had Tom Gerard, we had Adam Desmarais, we had Kim Beauregard. I was surprised how few people we sent, and so the one hospital guy. So we're conferenced out like everybody else, and so. But I think it's a fair. I thought as part of the agenda today, we did want to see some of the technical concepts, and there are some interesting ones there. So I'm going to pester you about your colleagues at Purdue there, and see if we can get a handle on their papers. But frankly, I want to know all of them, but when I come over here and I look to see what's going on in the ASHRAE suite, and I just seem to have lost it. Let's see.
Well, what was the paper that Dan Schuster worked on?
Dan Schuster. I'm getting lost in my tabs now. Let me go back down here again. Schuster. S-C-H-U-S-T-E-R?
Yep.
Simulation assessment of free cooling for a large campus. That I would be interested in that, but
okay.
You know, that's why I don't do everything. I do things that when we get stuff put to us. Now, is there any ideas in here that would get first and running costs lower? That would be interesting. So from that standpoint, we could say, yeah, maybe we should probably look into that. But if we want to come up with an original idea, so let me put that on a piece of paper here, and then we can move on. Let's see, where's my notepad?
You want original ideas?
Well,
man, oh man, you're asking for a lot.
Well, somebody's got to do it. How do I say? Okay, it's not right there. How do I get that? How do I copy that? Edit? Oh, I guess I can't do it. All right, I'm just going to leave it right there. I'm going to say Dan Schuster, and it's program CH15042. So I'll call it, and let's get our hot hands on that. Dan Schuster, Purdue. Is that right? That's his name. Purdue, and it was CH. So I say, folks who are listening to this, these are the Arndt von Ersch moments of what it look. This is what code writing and vote getting is all about. Although this week we're just trying to look at, or I guess we're trying to go back a little bit and look at things from a little bit higher vantage. But 15042, and I don't expect a lot of attendees on. And the one we had last week's already got 26. Let's see, 15042. Okay, I'll just leave it at that, and I'll just say ASHRAE research. Okay, all right. So
there was supposed to have been a guy from Ohio State, Gary Ash.
yeah, I know of him. He's part of. Isn't he part of APA's new canvassing group?
I'm not sure about that. I know he's part of. I know he's in the facilities operation at Ohio State.
Yeah, okay. He's been tracking for a number of years here. I don't see his name on any the transcript of any standards development. I don't see a proposal or a comment. So I tend to give that a person. The people I pay attention to are people who are writing code and getting votes, and I guess you and I stand in that, are part of all that. So. All right, so where are we? Where's our agenda for today? Here's where I try to dwell a little bit more on. So we just did this. So could any of this stuff be put to work immediately? And it looks like it can. Now, to go through what we, and I'll give you a preview to what let me show you what we did. And I think you know most of what we did. I want to make sure that so this is just a bunch of blogging stuff, material that are out there. Okay, I guess I do some of this. So you know that if we were to summarize what we did last year, it is trying to push back at a lot of these ideas. Here's one where they wanted to put a temperature sensor to every building. We've been doing just fine with 2 of them. To do that, at our couple hundred buildings here, would be about $5 grand each. So our people, I heard numbers from $350,000 to $800,000 first cost, and something on the order of $250,000 running cost, because they tend to. Yeah. When you consider all of the SCADA that you need, and then I wasn't aware of how. I didn't think deeply. Let's put it that way. I didn't think deeply about what it takes to keep an outdoor air temperature maintained. So now you've got a new maintenance though. So we just signed that off to market making. I think it's fair. I say nice things about market making farther up here. But in any case, that was we spent about what did we spend? We spent something on the order of we spent half an hour here, and if I go back, I'm always impressed with how often how many views these things get. What issue was that? I'm trying to figure what issue that was. That goes back to August, doesn't it? All right, so we have 115 views after 3 attendees. So we have to watch what we say, because a lot of the stuff we're saying today can and should be held against us, right? So we push that out of the way. And again, I try to make the point that it's very hard to count something that doesn't happen, and so there's no direct cost. We just know we avoided somebody adding more. And of course, I also say that it's a fair question to ask. Would a guideline ever find its way up into the? Would a guideline ever find its way up into the an enforceable standard? And so I try to answer that question here, and if there's better answers, but when I see a concept come out like that, and our expert is saying, no, this doesn't work for us, and the committee agreed with him. So if you go deeper in the transcripts, the committee did agree with him, and he wrote me an email and said, yeah, I'm satisfied with what they did, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So here's me working on behalf of my colleague Dennis, and if you get really close to this, you can see that, as Larry likes to say, they propose something with no technical substantiation. We argued against it using these arguments right here. And of course, they came back and said, okay. Okay. Yeah. Whether they could say, yeah, we got caught. They're not going to say that, of course, but All right, fair enough. This one here, again, I believe that what this was is a correlation issue, I think. This document wasn't moving in step with the others, so in any case, it was accepted in principle. So again, this one would have been even more. These two here, they wanted more, essentially doubling the demand control ventilation monitoring system, and here was asking what it would amount to more outdoor air. So that's what we call our wins to date. The losses are this one here. We tried to argue against having bicycles within 50 feet of a building, as they have here in Denmark and the Netherlands and other places like this. So this is what a building looks like when you have a very close requirement. Now, whether or not this is actually enforced there, I don't know. Obviously, people are putting their bikes as close as they can to the door. What the Green Building Council wanted was to install it within 50 feet. We said, no, there's an existing lead requirement, or at least allowance, that 600 feet was there, but the committee rejected it, so 89.1 will contain the 50-foot requirement last we looked. It could have changed, but so whether or not the rest of the industry thinks that this was something that we should have gone along with, my job here is to try to push back.
Mike, on the bicycle parking, did they? I mean, they said it should be provided within 50 feet. They didn't say how much had to be provided.
Well, that's a fair question. We could drill down on that, and if you like, we can go after that. There's a guy at Michigan State that helped me with this one. So I felt that in all of the things that I have on my plate, I can only pick so many battles. If the guy at Michigan State is a bicycle activist, he might know some of those refinements. He actually talked more about the actual equipment itself.
Yeah, but it's possible to just have one bicycle rack within 50 feet and say, okay, you've met the requirement of the standard.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. And now that you say that, my mind is recalling that there was a window requirement. I think if I go back to that original text, and again, this is a summary page. This is not getting down that much into the weeds. But if I were to call that stuff up, I think that there was something on the order of X number of bicycle parking spots for every window in the building. I think there was an index like that. Yeah. They said if there's going to be if there's 10 windows, then you have to have one bike parking spot, something like that.
Boy, big data does some interesting correlations, but the windows to bicycles is baffling to me.
Okay, then what I'll do is I'll call my colleague from Michigan State, and I'm making a note right here, 189.1.
And are they assuming that a window equals a private office?
All right, now you've caused me to want to go. All right, so let's get into my trusty rusty site here, and then this now allows our colleagues to see what it looks like. What does down in the weed, what do the salt mines really look like, folks? The place where we need to be. This is what it looks like. I need to sign in. And 189.1 rollback standard for ventilation, bicycle parking. Here we go. It was addendum W, so they rejected them all. And rollback distance to 6 rollback distance, prescription dimensions, correlation between nature. Well, this is the one I tried to make. One of the things that a point that I tried to make was that if you're going to have a hospice, suppose you're running a hospice. It's a big hospice. Do you really think you need to have that many bicycle parking spots in front of there? So I tried to I argue here. Now again, this was something that came out from some discussions with the folks at Michigan State. We had a couple of teleconferences on this one. This is a concept. He didn't want to. Very often, people don't want to put these comments in their own name, so I do it. Very often, that's the case. People are afraid. For many reasons to actually, so it's a top-heavy. These ideas have come from other people. I just put it in my name because I can take the flack. So this was one idea, that they were making delete the correlation between a building project and occupant behavior. This clause does not belong here. This clause permits judgment and discretion by the designer, so not specify this level. The designer should think. Okay, again, this is one of the old canards I bring about. If they're going to be prescriptive, I'll push back and make it more performance-oriented. Let it be local. But that's not what the committee decided to do. So if I go back here again and try to look at what some of the other, let me go back again, I lost it. Horizontal bikes. So this rollback distance requirement, commenting text, so what do we say here? Oh, okay, not less than 2 bicycle parking spaces shall be located within shall be visible from the building entrance. Other, okay, so this came from Lowell. He said we can't have that many bicycles stacked in front of our buildings for a lot of, we need egress access. Committee didn't buy it. But I think this lead requirement is originating in something to do with windows, and you don't see it tracking here. So again, I can refer this back to the expert from Michigan State about how we got here. But so that's a flavor of what the bicycle parking issue was, and because it wasn't really hardcore, it got into the outside of the campus. Again, I had to pick my battles, right? And I felt that, but that was a clear loss, and we spent some time, maybe 12 hours on it, trying to get our ideas across there. Okay. Do you mind? Any questions more? I'm happy to talk offline more about that if you like, Ted.
No, that's fine. I don't have any other questions.
Okay. All right. So here we have Larry and I have been working on this idea, which is not widely shared. We're a little bit alone on this, but I feel very strongly that we should not be trying to.
What was that one?
This one has to do with the amount of illumination. We don't think that there's enough illumination in many of our mechanical rooms. I don't doubt that a lot of the lights are left on. I don't doubt that, and this seems like easy pickings for the energy management folks. But the fact is that there's all these other hazards in the room. Okay. There are many hazards in these especially in mechanical rooms. You've got all this stuff happening, and we just don't feel that, given how small they are. And this is where they went. This number here, right there, that used to be something like 1.5. That number used to be 1.5 last year or within recent, and it got taken down to this. Now, what you don't see is that the committee allowed another ½ watt to come in to be switchable.
Well, Mike, they have a fundamental problem with their table, and when they're talking about lighting. They're talking about lighting in terms of watts, and the efficient lighting is now LED, and if you're going to measure lighting, you should measure it in the units of lighting, which is lumens.
Yes, we made that article. That's what we pointed out right here, is that we actually did a model of it. See, right here.
Because the wattage may be adequate if you're using LEDs, and so you're better off saying it in lumens rather than in LEDs. Someone will put a 10-watt light bulb, incandescent light bulb in a mechanical room and say, well, I've met the requirements. That's stupid.
Okay, can you see? I did my diligence here.
Yeah, there we go. Good.
I found that I was alone on this, though. This is published by NEMA. Again, people are afraid. People are afraid because they're promoting and providing technical justification for something that pushes back at the orthodoxy. And I'll say that it's not often not a pleasant place. So I hope this is a demonstration that you and I are of like mind on what the criteria should be.
Yeah, they're using the wrong units. If they changed the units, I'd feel better, because they're making the general assumption that people are going to use the most efficient lighting possible. And I can tell you from experience that people are going to use the most convenient thing possible.
Yeah. Okay. So you and You and Larry and I are of like mind on this issue, and I'm the only person, other than maybe somebody over at the Pacific Labs or maybe the ISNA, that have actually done this. So we may have a battle of illumination models. Regardless, that's where that one is. It's still in process. It's still in process, and we'll see where it goes. That should have been settled. I had some email. Let's see if I got an email from them. I won't bother people to see my email. But that should have been settled at this conference, and I won't know. Oh, by the way, I want to take one last statement about this here. It has to do with this sentence here. It may come as a surprise that people, to the general public, the American, that ASHRAE have appropriated bicycle parking concept into their standard suite.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I said that. But the fact is, ASHRAE's got a pretty darn good process. They have the standards development infrastructure, and Ms. Reinecke and Stephanie at ASHRAE, who may well be listening to this, I get that. I have the same situation here in Ann Arbor, where NSF's standards development facility is under contract by a number of organizations, totally unassociated with sanitary. We've got, I think they're under contract to do something with green electronics and servers. You wouldn't think that the folks that traditionally are involved in developing standards for municipal water supplies are now into the server business, but there it is. They do it better than most. So, okay, so this is the one that we have in process. What's the other one? In ventilation and cooking operations, somewhere over here in my trusty rusty. I think I put this in on. I think I put.
Is this the protected fume hood issue?
Yeah, here we are. So what do we say here? Again,
I like that.
Okay, I did this for Adam Desmaris at the hospital. So, oh, wait. Comments, we're grateful. Our comments are informed from the. Okay, so the usual canard that the standards development system is run by incumbents, and so I make some statements about that. So that's kind of where 154 is. Those are the ideas. I didn't get a chance. I really would like Adam to be able to put this up, and I'm just being patient and trying to train him or the staff to pull all this stuff together. So, this is also done by Dennis. Dennis also helped with this one too. So there's about 6 of the mechanicals, or maybe 8, are following and helping me with this. They're shy. But Dennis, I believe, but Dennis is over here, I think. Where's Dennis? I think I give him credit for this. There's Dennis.
I don't think it's an ASHRAE recommendation. I think it's an NFPA recommendation about the protected kitchen exhaust hoods.
Yeah, we make that statement here also, I believe, is that we need to watch how it correlates with, here we are. And I felt that they really ought to look a little bit more at NFPA 96. 96 is the one you're talking about.
Okay. I can't keep track of all those darn numbers.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. Look, it's one of those battle fronts you get accustomed to in this business, where you've got the fire protection guys and energy conservation guys sort of at each other's throat. So I figure, why don't you guys work it out? You know, go in the schoolyard, fight it out, see who wins. So.
Well, maybe we're not talking about the same thing. The one I'm talking about is, if I recall correctly, essentially it says in a multi-occupant dwelling, a fume hood, there's some criterion where they want the fume hood over the cook surface to be protected. That is, have a automatic fire extinguishing system built into it.
Yeah, we actually did that one. They said no. Where's that one? That goes back a few years.
That's the one where I mean, every dormitory that's got a suite arrangement with a little kitchenette is going to have a fancy wood over the stove, over the cooktop.
Well, if you want to go after this one in a little more detail, we did track it. It was just put farther down the stack.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's fine. I love that one because some people are going to see that one and say, how the heck did this thing slip through?
Yeah, well, okay. Let's talk offline on this one. We're running out of time here, frankly. I think we try to keep this down to a half an hour. So if you don't mind.
A long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
no
right.
problem.
So that covers what I thought would be this week's focus. And, of course, people are allowed to, to look this over. I don't know what else I can say. Do you have anything else to say about that? You weren't at the meeting. What was the secondhand stuff you were talking about, or are you still afraid to pass on the rumor?
Yeah, hang on a second. DOE, let's see, Pacific Northwest Laboratories published a report on the cost effectiveness of 901 versus 2013 versus the 2010. They haven't done one on subsequent versions yet because they haven't had a chance. There's an addendum L in something or other, I guess it's in 901, about pressure testing buildings prior to occupancy.
Okay, let's. I'm just going to do a raw.
For buildings that are 50,000 square feet or less, that one has some interesting.
You're talking about 90.1.
Yeah, 90.1 addendum L.
Okay, that's not tracking on my addendum L. Okay, yeah. Where did I see that come across? Well, I'm not. Okay, we'll have to look at that one. Sorry. All right, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Well, it's got some challenges. If you're going to be pressure testing a big building prior to occupancy and it's required, there can be some interesting challenges.
So pressure testing. It sounds like commissioning. Yes? No?
As part of commissioning, what's the leakage through the building envelope?
Okay. Yeah, I've seen a lot of the leakage. The Schmachna folks are jumping in on that one. I don't see anything new on 90.1, but let's have a look.
The SMACNA folks are interested in duct leakage.
Yeah. Let me get to my trusty rusty mother of all subscriptions here, and let's see if I can get the latest 90. If they're supposed to be updating all my addenda. So where are we? 90.1, 90.1. So this is supposed to be the latest version, and L. Zero matches. Give me a keyword for that.
Oh, hang on. Leak test via pressurization prior to occupancy. Building envelope testing. It's going to be in the 2015 version.
Of this one here? Okay. Oh, so that's just getting released. Okay, I've got to get the 20. I often have a hard time getting the latest version because ASHRAE wants us to buy it from them directly rather than this aggregator here.
Yeah, okay.
Leak testing. All right. So, all right. So that gets in an area of commissioning. It strikes me, and it doesn't change. What is its impact on first or running cost? Is it part
of? Theoretically, it's going to improve operating costs, but also, only anecdotally, it will increase first cost because essentially the contractor has got to throw in a little extra money for construction costs and maybe some insurance for when the building doesn't comply with the standard.
Okay. Would that be covered under the 0.5% we normally allow for commissioning? Or is now commissioning 0.75%?
It's probably going to push commissioning costs up.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the commissioning cost is not going to be that significant, but the added cost is really going to be for the contractor. Because when the contractor fails to meet the leakage rate, the allowable leakage rate, they're going to have to go back and find out where they didn't put in enough caulk.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's a little late. Because, I mean, you got all of the layers of the envelope up, and the one that's failed is down in the middle of all of that. Because not only is it an air barrier, it's also a vapor barrier. That's the nature of those doggone air barriers.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we'll follow it. I know I've seen a lot of transactions on a lot of concepts whistling through, not just this suite, but through Smachna, and I think the feds normally try to go through the ASHRAE suite, and so it looks like they've been able to do that here. Then of course, then we ask ourselves, is it reasonable? Should we look for state exceptions? That sort of thing. So thanks for the heads up on that. That doesn't sound like anything that was addressed directly at this conference, though. It just sounds like another thing that got through. And of course, yeah, that probably met. We'll get the transcripts of what happened at the meeting. Larry will probably be able to get that for us next time.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Great. All right. Well, all right. I'll get this up there for everyone's listening pleasure. Nothing I like better than showing the public that we're actually working on a Friday afternoon in this industry. So I'm grateful for your time and interest, Ted.
Who doesn't believe that we work on a Friday afternoon? Come on.
Ever try to send an email out on a Friday afternoon? You want to go through a test? I don't want to do that publicly. Thanks, Ted.
Oh.
Take care.
All right.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.